Yo, what's going on? Honestly, right now, I don't hate this 30-second long. I know it's technically like not a valid setup, right? Because we don't have the. I guess we did like sweep liquidity and we're delivering from the five, but the reason why is just because those equal highs. They're not like the greatest equal highs to target because they're not like at swing points. But I like this momentum initially from this 30-second candle, and so I think like we could go up here. But yeah, my bias for this afternoon is just going to be long. We're generating this like LRLR here in multiple different places. So I think we're probably just going to run all this liquidity. But yeah, no 1 minute for us here. But yeah, 15-minute inverse to the upside there. So the idea behind kind of taking this 30-second or whatever here would just be basically to take the 15-minute inverse. You go break even at the equal highs there, and then you try and target here for like first take profit or whatever. Don't think there's a chance we sweep those data lows. I mean, maybe. But so far, price has just told me that we're bullish because we're just continuing to respect bullish BD arrays and disrespect bearish ones, right? We just got this 15-minute bullish inverse to the upside. We IO fed the 15-minute here. We keep getting bullish SMTs at the lows, so I don't see why we would be bearish. But yeah, my scenario here for like a long would be if we came down, swept out this low, and got a V shape back up to target the equal highs. Yeah, Scotty. It's pretty crazy. If you guys took like this 15-second up, that was good. 15-second is kind of cooking right now. I think if you took this 1 minute up too, that was good also. Right, you're long here based off the SMT. Obviously, the problem is, we make relative equal lows here. Like, you think we sweep these, but no, we actually just get an SMT with this low here. We just shoot right back up, right? So, yeah, space. That was my only trade today. Was the 3 minute short to data low. I took a long here and like caught that too, but this was like the only valid play I think that I took that on eval. We are like in super choppy, like seek and destroy conditions, but we're creating good draws in liquidity, and we are creating 1 minute for value gap. So I don't think the price action's that bad. I think higher time frame we're just like chopped. Right. This was definitely the play of the day. I am like completely shocked that Dodgy did not take this. I don't know what more he could want out of a setup. Obviously, he said his bias was bullish, but I feel like even if your bias is bullish here, you just have to take that, right? Like it's the model, right? We have soup at the high, delivery. We have the order block created as we inverse the gap, singular obvious gap, OSFL. I don't know how. And then yeah, I think it's totally cool to scale there. The reason why is because this low you're targeting is the data wick is a IO Fed entry, and so if you get an SMT there, you don't necessarily need to come back and fill this in because if you think about it, right, our liquidity pool that's created here on this 15-minute gap, right, that we need to go back to those unfilled orders gets filled by that data wick. So instead of there being two draws in liquidity there, right, where you have like an unfilled gap and that, you only have the one draw. Um, you have a draw that actually fills in the um, the unfilled gap, and then you also get that reversal right at 10 a.m. So if you're assuming that this is our Judas swing, then there really shouldn't be a reason for price to come back to this with that SMT. Um, I probably would have held like a good chunk still there because I think it's still a decent draw on liquidity, right? But I would not have held like as much as I normally would have. I definitely would have scaled at the SMT there. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. That one confused me. I missed something here. There's just no way like you don't take that. And then I think it's fine if you don't take anything else the rest of the day. I thought this short setup we got after longs played out was decent. What would be target after equal highs? Just for us to run the LRLR, probably this high here. 631. What about the 5 minute long 1030? Um, I don't know. I'll check that in a second. But yeah, right now that 30-second long that I mentioned is playing out. We never inversed it to the downside, so looks like that's going to be what takes us to the equal highs here. I wish we'd gotten a little bit better of a setup, but like I said, I do think it looks good, and the reason why is because this 15-second candles, the momentum is just so crazy here that you kind of expect this 15-second gap here to hold as like an inception gap. This long here is based off the 5 minute IO Fed, and then you have equal highs above as the draw, so makes sense why we're going up. Um, if the conditions weren't as bad as they are, right, I probably would be on board with taking this, but because we keep getting these scenarios where we inverse gaps to the downside and then back up and then to the downside, it's like, um, makes me think that like maybe the setup isn't as high quality as it could be, right? What about the 5 minute long? Right. Yeah, this 5 minute was good if you took it. So it looks like we just inversed that last 1 minute gap, that BPR that was holding price down. We took out the equal highs, and so maybe this is where we start to see price run the LRLR. My final target for this would be like 631. And then yeah, our goal right now is just to essentially wait for a stop run or a retrace or a tap into a gap here to take long. Can you show me how you have the LRLR drawn? I'm struggling. Yeah, it's just basically, on the 15-minute time frame, these three highs here. It's not like the most algorithmic LRLR, but I like how we have a liquidity pool here, 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 and here. And whenever we have like stacked highs in the higher time frame like this, they usually will get ran. Maybe we take like one more try to get to this high, and we bounce off of it again. Maybe you scale there at the trend line, but yeah. If you really want this to become like good higher time frame LRLR, we'll probably see price come up again, maybe come down, sweep this low, maybe come up again, and then finally maybe break through it or something. That's when it would be like a really really good draw on liquidity. But right now it's okay. Bethan it is, but it's just not as good as it would be if there wasn't that SMT. How many RR do I aim for a month? Usually 10. I think 10 is a good place to start at. Accounting for losing days and whatever. 10R is $2,500 per account, so I think that's pretty good. If we inverse the 5 minute up, what would I rate the setup? Well, it's a long and premium. Um, we didn't close above it here. I'm guessing we'll just run this high, so it's probably going to go invalid. I'd probably rate it like a B setup. You should be in from lower here. If you're going to take the 5 minute, why not take this 1 minute? Or even like the 30 second, right? Like these are higher probability setups than this 5 minute. So I think the only way we end up getting it along here is if price were to retrace to the 15 minute here, and then we got along, right? Like maybe we don't take out this high here, bounce off the trend line, and come back. Um, Maybe we come down, take out these lows here, and then get along. Nice, Johnny. By the way, this wasn't even a 30 second play, it was actually a 15 second. I just didn't want you guys to think, that I'm calling out 15 second plays, but this was actually a 15 second play. I don't know. Apparently, people really don't like the 15 seconds, so I just don't call it out. But yeah, this was a 15 seconds. So don't. 6505.75. Yeah, if you want to scale there, you can, or you can just scale at the equal highs. I mean, are you really going to miss out on a couple points? Yeah, EJ. Yeah, he basically like I'll just take the max payout whenever I'm eligible to prevent them from going to live. Like for Apex or whatever, it's like 5 payouts or something, and same with MFFU. So I just don't let them get to 5 payouts. But I don't know. That's about it. But I'm moving away from that. I told chat the other day like that's no longer what I'm doing because um I realized that focusing on these 4 figure slash low 5 figure payouts isn't gonna like change my life or anything, right? And I need to start focusing on like the bigger number payouts. Like I'm totally capable of doing it. I've just been like essentially nerfing myself for the last 6 months or whatever because I liked the idea of having consistent income versus trying to go for something bigger. And now that I'm kind of in a more comfortable stage, I could definitely shoot higher. Yeah, exactly, President. So I've been taking trades where I've been trying to trade with more size, risk more than 250 if it's a setup I really like, and that's been working out pretty nice. There's been a couple nice days I've had here, so I'm just trying to keep it up. Today I've only made like 360 today, and we did like, I don't know, 2R or whatever, or like 1.5. Is there a limit on how many withdrawals you get in MFFU accounts? No, but you can only withdraw a max of 1,200 until you get 30 days of 30 winning days or 5 payouts. Yeah, so ticket, you're technically already done with half your month, right? By the way, there would have been where you scaled on that long. Like if my expectation is to get 10R a month, like you just got 5R. So would you get a buffer at MFFU, or as soon as you get 12? I used to just take the payouts whenever I could, but now I'm building a buffer at MFFU. Although I don't think MFFU is the right firm to be doing that with. Honestly, if you want to look for a firm where you can get good payouts, like high payouts, I would look at like Top Step or Apex. Um, Top Step obviously because they allow 5K withdrawals, and then Apex because you get like a lot of accounts, right? Like if you want big payouts, like MFFU starter is probably not the place to look, but MFFU starter is the easiest place to get a payout. So I'm just still playing with MFFU because they're like my ride or die. But um, yeah, if somebody else was in my shoes, I probably wouldn't say like go for the MFFU if you're trying to like graduate from like getting small payouts and you want to look for something more. I'd probably start with like probably Apex, and then once you kind of max out your Apexes, maybe go to Top Step, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm working with Top Step trying to get a nice sizable payout. Is there a max number of withdrawals requests per month? I think it's just 4, and it's just because you can only request one every 5 days, like at the minimum. Nice, Alex. Yeah, so you're like what, $800 away to getting a payout? Yeah, no, I've actually never had a 9 to 5. I mean, I had internships, but I graduated college and I started, um, trying to trade and look for jobs, and then I got like a really nice payout, and that's like what convinced me to like do this full time. But yeah, like the only 9 to 5 I ever had was like I worked at this company called Rocket Companies. They're like, they're like Quicken Loans and that kind of thing. By the way, there's Final TP. Um, who the hell just talked? I don't know. But yeah, pretty easy draw. Um, just not really like the cleanest setup for us there. I guess we had like another 15-second setup that formed there, but we never got the low sweep, so I wouldn't have taken that. It was like 11 grand, Marwin. I made like 11 grand in a month, and that's when I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Screw, because like, what was it with though? That was with Apex. It was like 325Ks and 350Ks max payout. Nah, don't regret taking that with small size. I think if you were gonna take it, you should have taken it with small size there because, um, you're long and kind of in premium. So I think you did the right thing. Yeah, yeah. When I got that payout, that's when I was like, yeah, for sure, I can do this. Oh, ticket, you're out. All right. I haven't even alerted nothing, but I'm glad you were able to catch that along. So we got this 30-second short here. Let's look to the left to see if we have any delivery here. Alright, we'd have the 15-minute gap to the left here as delivery. If we inverse this to the upside, obviously, you know, we're probably just going to be bullish to those highs there. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, this definitely could be like a trend day scenario if we close over this 15-minute. If we did, I think buying like contracts that expire at the end of the week could be a play. Took that to 631. Nice. Yeah, that was definitely the play. But yeah, I wonder if Dodgy took that. That was like the 15-minute inverse play. So right. If he's looking to take plays that like help him, you know, get to that thing that he's trying to do with the what's it called? That was probably the play to do it on. So we've got this 30-second to the downside here. We swept the high. Obviously, it would be A plus, but you're also taking that first inverse after a massive pump. And if you entered here, you'd be trying to fade this 1 minute. So I would probably wait for the 2 here. And then if I was going to take it, I'd probably go break even at this low. That way you're not taking the first inverse after a massive pump, and you're not trying to fade the 1 and 2 minute here. Because we definitely could just see trend day conditions here. Especially since, like, to me, if this was like bearish or like wanting to become bearish, what would I expect to see? What normally am I anticipating whenever I'm seeing a reversal? This is like a ask the group kind of question. Yeah, kind of along the lines of displacement. Almost the right idea. I'd expect bullish PDRAs to get wrecked, yeah, but I'd also kind of anticipate this high not to be ran through so aggressively, right? If we're going to continue to respect this 15-minute gap to the left, I need to see price respect CE of it, or like at least show that like each high we take is a soup, right? Right now, does this look like it's going to be a soup? Yeah, probably not, right? So whenever we see price just close through these highs very aggressively, start violating this 15-minute or gap here with a lot of momentum, that's telling me that we're probably not going to see this be a soup, which means we probably won't see a reversal, and we'll probably just continue to head up, right? Obviously, the inverse here would be invalid, so no entry there. But yeah, like I said, I think if we inverse this 15-minute gap to the left here, you could probably get away with taking like options contracts that expire at the end of the week, and then target this high and maybe these highs up here, right? Unless I'm missing something. Is there like an hourly? Yeah, there's an hourly still that needs to be inverse too, I guess. Oh wait, no, we got it already. So yeah, it's just that 15. It's kind of reminding me of like all-time highs price action where we just end up missing like data lows and we just were so bullish that we just go straight up. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting right now. U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick, I have a trade deal pending approval. One trade deal is reached with a country I will not name. I am awaiting approval from the other country before announcing. We're getting a tariff news leaks, or what would this be called? Like we're getting tariff drops. Like like when Nike does like a sneaker drop or whatever. That's basically what we're getting. This guy's like teasing like a collab. Yeah, Biggie, it's going to be pretty difficult. The only setup that was valid, before PM started or whatever, was this 30-second setup. I said it looked really good. Obviously, the only issue with it was the fact that it was just a small gap, right? But we were delivering out of the 5 minute, and we had this like LRLR, you know, coming up here. So I figured it would probably get ran, and then it just did with this nice candle here. And now I've kind of said that I'm expecting price to be in a bullish trend day scenario since we didn't get a bearish reaction us taking the highs here. And I'm already kind of assuming that this 15-minute will get inversed, and then once that 15-minute gets inversed, I'll expect these highs to get hit. And so when this happens, you could like potentially get away with taking like end of week options calls, right? But yeah, right now I'm just chilling. Probably just gonna watch the slow grind up. If we get a nice looking play during the session, we'll take it. If not, we're just chilling. I've actually really liked the last week and a half or so of PM streams because we've gotten setups, but you just have to be patient. And so like it's offered a lot of really rewarding opportunities for people that have just been patient. You know, I guess I have the question of the day here. Who's winning? 100 men, like 100 average men, or one gorilla? How average are the men? Like, it's not all the same man. It's like 100 men that all come out to around the average male. Just not winning, just like in a fight. Do the men run from fear after the first guy is ripped in half by the gorilla? Um, Whatever hypothetical situation you need to create in your head to justify your choice, is not the point of the game. The point of the game is who's winning in a fight: 100 men or one gorilla. With the I guess the goal being, um, you're basically in a cage, and the only way that the people leave or the gorilla leaves is if the gorilla kills all the people or the people kill the gorilla. Maybe not even a cage, maybe like a pen, right? Just like an enclosed space. Okay, I'll make a poll. We do have a 1 minute short here. Like I said, I think I'm gonna wait for the 2 minute. Yep, it's a short against the bias. That's why I said I want to wait for the 2 minute. Plus, you have equal highs above here. They're not like the most important equal highs, but yeah, there are equal highs. So have you guys deliberated? Like, be creative with your thought process if you're going with a choice. Like, don't just like automatically go to like fist fight, right? Like, there's other ways to win a fight. Like, there's no rules. There was no, yeah, exactly, Baker. Yeah. Well, I guess here on this 30 second we swept out these lows, but there's no sticks or weapons. You don't, yeah, no sticks or weapons. Just took the 5 minute up. No. I think the 5 minute was invalid. Yeah. This 5 minute, this was before stream. So no. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. There's no rules. Okay, Trade Boy, what are we talking about? Yeah, me and Wesley are on the same page. Okay, so it's literally just this, right? I mean, like, there's no way the men don't win. That's my opinion on it. By the way, it's crazy to me that it's 50-50. 11 people voted for the gorilla, 12 people voted for the men. Um, I mean, yeah, the gorilla's gonna be, scary, right? They're strong as hell, but 100 men, all you do is you just like grab the gorilla and jump on the back, take out its eyes, and then like, yeah, dogpile it basically, rip off its limbs, and there you go. The gorilla's taken care of. I don't even think one man dies in that scenario. Maybe one person. Like, it wouldn't be close. And the thing is, right? Humans have some of the strongest endurance of any animal on the planet. A gorilla, all you'd have to do is like run away from it for a bit. It would get tired, and then you could attack it then. Tom, we're having a debate. 100 men versus one gorilla. Who would win in a fight? I'm saying the men take it. Like, it's not even close. Yeah, sure. Gorillas can tear off a limb, no problem. But then again, gorillas aren't the smartest, right? Like, we are infinitely smarter. Like, we can like devise a plan. It's 100 people. 100 people. It's not like 100 children. It's 100 average men. If a cane corso is running up to me, am I taking out the cane corso or am I running? Dude, I'm gonna be honest. The man versus dog debate is crazy too. There's no way the average man doesn't take out the average dog. I mean, if you want to cherry pick dog species and say like the craziest dog species would take out the average man, okay, like sure. Even if it's a pit bull, like an average man is stomping a pit bull. Eddie, that's funny. What about? Okay, Tommy, come on. So yeah, right now just continuing that grind up. Next 15 minute candle close will be in 10 minutes, which that will determine if we inverse this 15. And then if we do, that kind of triggers that condition I'm looking for to take like weekly dated calls. And then I'd probably stop out on those if we close back below the 15. But by that point, they'll probably be cooked. So give me letters, no chat GPT, no cheating. Oh, okay. I got you. Blimp. MP. No? Darn. Could be Blitz. Yeah, I like Blitz. You didn't get rid of T, R, or S. How did you get to the why would you guess blood? Hey, it's okay. Oh man. I don't know. It could be Bliss. Yeah, it could be. You needed to get rid of S or R at some point earlier. Yeah, you could definitely do Bliss here. I just don't know what else it would be. Like, what else? Yeah. All right, cool. Got it done with Bliss. You didn't have any other letters left where like they would fit there. I'm gonna title the stream recap today 100 men versus one gorilla. Just join stream and y'all doing Travis. um, what we're focusing on right now is this 15-minute gap here to the left that's been holding price down. If we inverse this, I'll anticipate 20,043 being hit. If we get some sort of like reversal play, it's probably gonna have to be on like the higher time frame. So maybe this 5-minute gap. If we inverse that to the downside, I'd start getting interested in shorts. But right now, we've just shown that we're so bullish all day. We continue to disrespect bearish PDRAs and respect bullish ones. So I don't know. To me, this doesn't really seem like reversal conditions at all. We do have a 1 minute to the downside here. I really like this momentum. Your break even for this would be the low here. This is actually an okay play because we have the manipulation leg here. This is definitely like if there was a good draw on liquidity below, I would be okay with taking this. But because there's not like a super fantastic draw on liquidity, it's kind of difficult for me to take this play. Right? Like if there was equal lows or a data wick or something, like sure, I'd be on board with this. But like you're basically just taking this for the RR. Like that's it. It's a good setup, right? But there's not a good draw on liquidity, so. What if we get the 5 minute CISD? Yeah, exactly. I would just need to see like some market structure shift or some other, PD rate getting put in that maybe tells me that we want to reverse here. But like still here, nothing is telling me that, right? Me disrespect or us disrespecting, two 1 minute for value gaps that don't really have any significance in the market. They didn't push us high or anything. Doesn't really tell me that price is wanting to reverse, right? Now, maybe if we get this 15-second confirmation setup paired with the 1 minute, maybe that makes it a little bit more convincing, right? But still, it's like save situation, drawing liquidity is kind of questionable. I do like this 15-second, probably more than just the 1 minute on its own, though. So we will see. I think if you're looking for a good RR setup or a good eval play, like this 15 second isn't the worst thing in the world. Just trying to anticipate that pullback after a massive pump up. But it's definitely too risky for like funded or anything. This is a lot of volatility behind these candles. There's a lot of energy here. So no SMT there, just completely missed low. So unfortunately, no break even yet. Europe is not engaging well on tariff talks. Well, I guess that's a good sign for shorts. Made equal lows at that low there. So yeah, once those get broken, I'd probably go to break even on any short that you're in. And then, is this 1-to-1 away? Okay, so it is 1-to-1 away, so you could scale some there if you wanted to. We might get an SMT at the low here, so just be careful of that too. Might be even more of a reason to scale there at the equal lows. Um, we didn't get an SMT at this low, which is what I'd be worried about because I believe that's the 5 minute. So I don't know. We'll see. By the way, who was in this short? Just out of curiosity. This is another one of those scenarios. I don't know if you guys remember this morning with the long, how price just kind of pumped through. If we're expecting to reverse here and be bearish, price should just dump through this. Right? This is like the void to the downside now. Here's the next 15-minute candle here. Obviously, no 15-minute inverse. But yeah, so far it doesn't really look like price wants to come back here. Oh yeah, there's a 15-second BPR here. I don't know if I could be on board with that long. That's pretty crazy. I'd probably want to wait for at least a retrace to the 5 or something, so we get delivery, because right now we don't. But yeah, it looks like I mean, if you went break even when we tapped the low there and didn't wait for the equal lows to break, I guess that's a break even trade, but looks like it will be a loss. Which, like, I think that's a totally fine loss for you to take if you're like trying to go for a high RR play, but it just doesn't go with the bias and it's not high. Like I said, not high enough probability to take on a funded. So, all good. I mean, it hasn't failed yet. You know, there's always that chance, but it definitely looks like it's going to. So I guess there would be the fail, which like figures, right? We're still bullish. That's kind of the reason why that was going to fail if it did. So getting pretty choppy now. Obviously, seeing price inverse a bullish gap to the downside, then come back up, cause that to fail, and then now seeing price once again inverse bullish gaps to the downside isn't really what you want to see in good market conditions. So I guess in this scenario, I'd probably just stay out until we get something that looks a little bit better. I like how V-shaped this 1 minute is, but we don't really have delivery here. I guess unless you count the 15 minute to the left, and we didn't get a liquidity sweep. So I guess what makes the short better here is the fact now we have equal lows, but I feel like we should have came back to them without causing the inverse to fail if we were like, truly bearish and in good market conditions. But yeah, these are bad price conditions. Don't touch this, guys. These are chop, and it's just best to wait for something a little bit more textbook. Don't want to get caught like while we're trading sideways, just trying to catch the short or the long or whatever. Okay, so there's the equal lows finally. Made more equal lows on ES, but those don't really matter too much. I guess we'll see if they get hit. All right, so looks like that's crazy. Yeah, the market's giving us a really hard time here right now. Came down, tapped into this 15-minute bullish for value gap, and we'll see the reaction from it. If we start to kind of knife through it with good momentum, maybe we take care of this for value gap here. I'd probably be willing to switch bearish. You know, we're still technically respecting that 15-minute gap, so we'll see. Might have just been a hair early on trying to take the short there because the draw on liquidity wasn't there yet, and then once we get the equal lows there, that gives us the ability to enter that. But yeah, so far, haven't taken anything yet. Still just chilling. I think this short and this short are good representative examples of trying to short against the trend. It's just lower probability, and so you end up with like basically a 50% win rate, and you can see that play out in live time here. This short fails, this short wins. So for me, I just find it best to sit out, and yeah, you guys will know when I'm taking something. Do either of these shorts look like something that I would alert or say I was getting into? Like maybe this one, right? Because, you know, good momentum, but realistically, isn't that good a momentum? It's 15 points after 300-point pump, and the gap isn't singular, so. But yeah, good. I guess reaction there from the 15-minute if you want to be bullish. Not really any gaps here on the 1 minute. There is this 15-second bullish gap here, or bearish gap. Sorry, not bullish. Um, but yeah, for me now it just seems like we might sit in this range until we either inverse the 15 minutes to the upside, or we get like a nice short back down. There is an SMT at this low here, so once again another bullish sign there. But yeah, I've got another hypothetical for you. All right, here it is. 100 of us, 100 of us, basically everybody that's in this call, or Ryan in a 10K account challenge. Whoever makes the most profit over like 5 trading days, who wins? 100 of us or Ryan? Us. Paper or real money? Dodgy, Steve. Dodgy. Unicorn long. No, I don't see a unicorn setup long. Oh wait, yes I do. This one's a little bit weird though, but yeah, I mean I guess you could count that. Right? Because like this, I guess it's unicorn. Yeah, I guess you could call it a unicorn setup. Um, I've seen what happens when you try and get a group of people together to trade. I don't know if you guys remember the poll, but I do not think the poll is going to be able to beat Ryan. I feel like it's whenever you involve that many people, it kind of turns into like a too many people in the kitchen scenario, right? Yeah, Damo. A unicorn setup is basically whenever you have a bullish order block or a bearish order block that gets inversed, creating a breaker, and then that breaker overlaps the 2022 model. Okay, so here we have the 2022 model, kinda, not really, um, because we don't get like the market structure shift, but we don't really need to see the market structure shift because we're already bullish. So this is like a shit unicorn setup. Honestly, the better ones occur at like the extremities of the range, in tandem with like an inverse and a reversal like setup, like usually like at 10 a.m. or whatever. So this one's just like not the best example, but if we get one, I'll show you like a good one, or if I can go back here and point one out, I will. Okay, so like maybe right here. Yeah, we have the 2 minute. Yeah, okay, so like right here is like not the worst. We have this bullish breaker here because order block and then inversed, and then we come back up. We get these inverses to the left. Price retraces into the bullish breaker, and that lines up nicely with that last gap in the leg. And so this is like a decent unicorn setup here, right? 'Ryan plus Exano versus plus Reliable versus Michael Huddleston. Oh, that's easy. That's really easy actually. Do the body of the candle only, or I would just do the body of the candle, right? But you need to wait for a candle that has like a good sized body relative to its wick. Like you don't want to see like this as your breaker, if that makes sense, right? Most of the time, though, I will include the wicks. I just don't necessarily think you need to in order to take it for the unicorn setup, because whenever I'm like factoring in the creation of an order block, I'm including the wick because a wick is essentially just a tiny BPR. Whereas like here, you're basing the trade idea more on the body itself, right? Because that's the block of orders. The wick isn't really like the block of orders. 15-minute getting closed, I hope. Yeah, we got another 50 seconds to pump 20 points. So probably not this candle. Maybe next one, though. Right at 3 o'clock. What's going to really throw me for a loop is when we inverse the 15-minute up right at 3, and then we chop around. And then because we've kind of been bullish all day long, we become bearish at 3 o'clock to put in the wick on the daily candle. Like, that's going to throw me off. I hope that doesn't happen, because then my bias is just going to be completely wrong when we inverse this 15. I'm going to want to be bullish, but price is just going to be like basically bearish because of power of 3. What's a soup? Soup is basically when price hits, a low that has a bunch of stop losses, and then because we've taken out that like draw on liquidity, it just reverses and goes towards the next draw with a lot of energy. So like yesterday morning's play was a soup, right, at 10 a.m. because we had a bunch of stop losses at a previous low, and then when those stop losses got ran, price immediately reversed, right? So here's that previous low. We run the stop losses with a bunch of, you know, momentum. And then as soon as those stop losses get ran, we try to target the next draw in liquidity, which is going to be all these unfilled gaps up here. Okay, and then once those gaps get filled in, then price is going to want to go for the next target, which I guess was these lows down here, or maybe this low, whatever it was, right? Is it to take out traders? Yeah, it's to take out. I guess they're called turtlers. That's why it's called turtle soup. It's a trading strategy. But yeah, basically all you need to know is when you see a soup reaction in hindsight, it's because the orders that were there, that were the original draw and liquidity, have been swept. $30 OB was money. This one? Or what are we talking about? Yeah, that's one of the better confluences to have whenever you do get like a soup setup. I think that was the case yesterday morning, as we had a soup right there at 10 a.m. So I took that long actually there. But yeah, it looks like we're just going to be chopping sideways, and that's fine, right? We expanded up here, at the start of the session. We have first distribution leg here, and then second distribution leg here. Now we're accumulating, and so maybe we'll get our manipulation leg at the 250 macro, and then we distribute for the remainder of 3 o'clock, right? Oh, my consumer's energy bill is ready. Oh boy. Let's see how much money I spent on electricity this month. Only $73? Hell yeah. 220 pounds? Damn. Yeah, that's that Russian oil and natural gas or something. I don't know how it works. I know nothing about Europe. Electric policy. Yeah, didn't you guys have to burn like a shit ton of coal during the Industrial Revolution, and that was like a big deal? But yeah, no. I have like a 1,500 square foot place, and $73 isn't too bad. I think over the winter it was like 110. So nah, 1,500 square foot is not nothing to brag about. In Michigan, that's nothing. But it's just for me and my girlfriend. It's just a little starter place. So I'm electric slash gas. How much is rent in Michigan? Right now we pay 1,300. 30-second long. While we're just chopping in this range, that I'm probably not going to take anything. I need to see price come down and come back up. Yeah, I mean we live in like the Metro Detroit area, so like it's pretty reasonable for where we live. What's the total for the two? Yeah, 1,300. Oh, for electric and gas, 200 bucks maybe. Yeah, I'm living well below my means right now, so I can just stack a bunch of money while I'm young to take advantage of compound interest. How many days a month on average do you refrain from trading altogether because conditions are not very optimal? Usually like one session a week, maybe 1 or 2 sessions a week. I probably won't refrain from trading the whole day. Usually, like if one session's bad, the other one will clean up. But yeah, usually 1 or 2 a week. Sometimes I just don't trade in a session because I just don't feel like it. Like, you have to be there mentally when you hop on the charts, or else you're going to do something stupid. So if you're not all there, like, then it's probably best not to be doing it. So far, the 30-second long here is working out pretty well, right? Obviously, soup at the low here, delivery out of the 30-second, good V shape. Just like not the greatest price conditions. If you look at like the 5 minute or the 3 minute, you can kind of see what I'm talking about, right? You don't really want to be trading in these price conditions. So that's what's preventing me from taking the trade. Obviously, mechanically, it's a decent looking setup, but subjectively, it's not the best. Northern Virginia, yeah, that's right by the DMV or whatever, right? So I guess that's probably why it's expensive. Can you cross to Canada through the bridge with like no passport? Yeah, because I have an enhanced license, I can do that. And if you cross there, all you need is a birth certificate and a photo ID. Unless that changed recently with Trump being in office, but yeah, yeah, we go to Canada sometimes. Like last summer, me and my girlfriend did. Yeah, there's border control. Yep. Yeah, I can't just like cross at like international. Yeah, whatever. Why'd you say damn, Marwin? What are you trying to do? Oh, you thought it's like Europe? Yeah, no, we don't have the eurozone or what's it called? Uh, Not Brexit. What's the thing? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that's not a thing in North America. Obviously, right? That's kind of like what our whole last election was about, was trying to increase our border security. So, yeah, we don't want anyone coming in. No, 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 not state to state, just country to country. Right? State to state, we can freely travel, obviously. I don't even need a passport to go to something like Puerto Rico, like because Puerto Rico's a territory, we can just travel there, and that's like you have to hop on a plane and do that, but it's technically a domestic flight, right? Unless I'm mistaken. Um, I think the state currently, like, if we're gonna, I guess, get into politics, the reason why America is the way it is right now is just because we've taken up like this big importance on like identity politics and like gender politics, and we made that like a really big deal, and we've kind of gotten away from like class consciousness, and we've gotten away from the things that like make America really like great economically, which is being able to bolster our middle class and tax the rich and that kind of thing. And like what's happened is these corporations and really high value individuals or billionaires or whatever have created these like basically mini culture wars that have divided us as a people. But if we were all just united around the same idea that like basically the rich oppress us, then like we would be able to tackle a lot more issues, and like people wouldn't be voting against their best interest and that kind of thing. What's the next target above the blue line? Probably next target would be once we close over the 15, which we haven't yet. Have we? Yeah, no, we haven't. Um, Probably highs up here. There's not really like a whole lot of liquidity targets left for us to get. Is Taji oppressing us? No. Nah, he's not like. I mean, obviously he's wealthy, but he's not like the 1%. I'll be there for the. Okay. Face reveal, Tony. I just did a face reveal the other night in the backtesting stream, whatever it was. And if you want to go to my Twitter, my face is on there. What do you consider 1%? Like, honestly, it's not even individuals mostly. Like, if you have less than $10 million net worth, like you're not really like the problem. Obviously, like you're an issue, but like if you're somebody that has over $100 million, you're the problem. You don't need more than $100 million ever. Once you kind of break over that territory, your money, your the accumulation of money you get is essentially no longer for the use of money, like buying material things or assets or that kind of thing. Your money has now turned into something that you can use to gain power and gain political importance, right? Like and when you associate basically money with political control, that's when you start to get into things like tyranny. And so that's kind of where we are. We're in the state of like an oligarchy because we've associated our political process with money, and that really started with Citizens United. What's my Twitter? It's just NQ Reliable. But yeah, like you're not really gonna be like in the same threshold or like income bracket if you're making less than $100 million in comparison to those people. Like people that are making over $100 million and are like influencing politics and are like obviously causing problems in the earth and have like major say in like how our systems are created. Those are the people that like are the problem. The big nose, damn. I didn't think my nose was that big. I think that there's a little bit of hysterics on the left. Obviously, like the stuff that's going on with Trump like isn't the best. Obviously, I don't want him crashing the economy, but at the same time, I feel like people are shouting the sky is falling, and I'm guessing we'll find a way to, figure it out. You know, I guess so. Fahrenheit. Nah, space. The only thing you missed was I started at the beginning of stream saying that I wanted these highs to all get ran, and we had like a nice 30-second setup that formed that took us to that target, and now we're just waiting to see if the 15-minute gets inversed to the upside, and if that 15-minute gets inversed, we'll target these highs next, right? I already think we're going to. It's just kind of a matter of time, and getting that 15-minute inverse will give us that extra confirmation. I kind of mentioned and said that if we do get this 15-minute inverse, it might be a good opportunity to start looking at like maybe calls going into the end of the week or whatever. But yeah, like obviously I'm just a 23-year-old. My knowledge of the world is relatively limited, and obviously I went to college and like learned a couple things, but that doesn't really mean my opinion is the end all be all. And obviously, it's important to, I guess, get an understanding of everybody's point of view. How long have I been trading for? Like 5 years. What did I study at college? Management information systems and cybersecurity management. Do I think BlackRock is the problem? I think, Yeah, obviously, but I don't think BlackRock is the problem for the reason why most people say like, oh, they control everything. They're the new world order. All that. Like, I don't think that's why they're the problem. The reason why they're the problem is because they're buying up single family homes and like taking away real estate and like basically making an artificial monopoly of homes and like artificial rent inflation and like basically like preventing inventory in the market to like be released is basically like market manipulation. And so that's the reason why I think BlackRock is a problem. All right, so we swept this high. We're still respecting the 15-minute. We have this 30-second gap that's currently holding price. So maybe if we continue to hold that, we'll be bullish. What's the solution? Honestly, we need to move away from capitalism. Like, that's the solution. And I know that sounds crazy to say as like a trader, but like that, or we just need to remove money from politics. But I feel like under a capitalist system, you can't do that. Like, money is always going to have a factor in politics. So I don't know. And adopt what system? Probably socialism or like a mixture of like free market economics with like socialism. Like you want to have like innovation and industry, and you want to be able to like have the ability to make your own living wage. But we need to be in a system where the rich aren't able to just run away with money, right? And like basically get like this trickle up and funnel up of money from the poor. So it's difficult. Like capitalism like is always going to end in a system where the rich end up with everything, and so you need to find a way to regulate that from happening. Yeah, there should be a cap on exactly, Scotty. But that's just what taxes are, right? Like back in the 50s when the tax rate was like 92%, right? But the problem is now that everything is globalized, that's like less realistic now because people make a fair point, right? Like people are just going to move away, right? But you don't necessarily want to stop like the biggest consumer nation in the world from spending money on your goods that you create. So what needs to happen is we need to basically tax corporations and not necessarily individuals. Like we need to increase the corporate tax rate, and that would be like a start. We need to get rid. We need to re-establish like campaign finance laws, and we need to increase the corporate tax rate. And I feel like that would be like a start, and then obviously increase the education of the masses. Do you think that would raise the price of goods? Increasing the corporate tax rate? Yes, but by increasing the corporate tax rate and redistributing that wealth to the people, you increase the income that those people receive. And so while you increase the cost of goods, you're also increasing the what's it called? Uh, ex- Expenses to income ratio of like the country. Yeah, you're increasing wages, right? Or relative buying power. So like to me, I think that it's worth it, right? The problem is we haven't wages haven't kept up with um, corporate revenues, and they haven't kept up with like anything, right? So that's the problem. Is we need to bring the gap between GDP and wage growth back more to where it used to be. But yeah, obviously, like I don't know if that's a popular opinion, obviously in the trading community, but basically make Detroit great again. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's no probably one fix all, and like I said, I'm just a 23-year-old, so. But yeah, I think it's crazy that we haven't had a minimum wage increase federally since 2009. Like 725 is just crazy. Obviously, state by state, it's not that, but there's definitely a few states that still have that as their minimum wage. Like, I think it's crazy when like rich people are like rooting for a recession because they know that they can just buy up assets cheaper. Like, that to me is crazy. Like, that's a total disconnect from the system. Like, recessions literally kill people. Was this a unicorn down? No, not really. But yeah, we'll focus up. So we had this 30-second here. We're still rejecting the 15-minute. If price inverses this 30-second to the downside, that would probably be bearish because it's what we've been using as support this whole time. So I'm watching that, and I'm also watching ES right now. ES is about to take out this low, which would give us another bullish SMT. If we're gonna reverse here, that's totally fine because, like I said, we still ended up respecting that 30-second, and now we are in the macro. Would I take this? No, because like we're in like accumulation. What I would probably end up taking is either a short from the highs up here or a long from the lows down here. That's the only trade I would take. I wouldn't want a short in discount of like this 1 minute range here, right? Only just joined. Really, did I miss any trades or just politics? Honestly, we've been talking about a lot of things. We talked about 100 men versus one gorilla. We talked about politics and how, you know, I would fix the world and whatever. And yeah, now we're back on the charts, but it's hard right now. We're just kind of talking. What's the verdict? Verdict, I think on the. Oh, wait, guys, we got to catch Chills up on 100 men versus one gorilla. Chills, be creative. There's no rules. It's a fight to the death. It's 100 men. If one person jumps on the gorilla's back, dog piles the gorilla, and you take out the eyes, how is the gorilla winning? A gorilla is much stronger, but it's 100 men. You can pretty easily overwhelm a single thing. I'm delusional. Okay. You're telling me three 220-pound men laying on top of a gorilla's arms, or like just like wrapping themselves around it, and then one dude jumping on the back and taking out the eyes, like. Yeah, I don't think they understand how much 100 people is. Yeah, we don't need them to jump. We just need like them to basically dogpile the gorilla. I don't underestimate the strength of it. I just. Yeah, but EJ, that's a lot of wasted energy, right? The gorilla isn't going to have infinite endurance, right? Like eventually it's going to get tired by doing that, you know? What if gorillas spin? Just don't be in the way then. Just wait for it to stop spinning because it doesn't have infinite endurance. I would, with 100 men, I would surely die for the cause. I truly believe 100 men would win. Gorilla spin. Everyone with a gorilla spin. I can't believe we're back on this. That's so funny. Hey, it's probably better than the politics though. All right, we'll do Fahrenheit. But yeah, no 30-second close below there. We're still holding the gap even on the 1 minute too. So nothing really to say right now. Just still chopping. How's this long? Yeah, like I said, the only way I would take it long is if we came down and swept out the lows and had delivery from this 5 or 15 minute down here. Um, and yeah, like, does this look like a setup I would ever take? Like the draw and liquidity to the upside right now is just not good. ChatGPT Gorilla wins 90% of the time unless the humans are trained, organized, and ready to accept serious injuries or death. Well, ChatGPT is a poser. He ChatGPT is an op, so they don't count. By the way, how would they not be organized? Like obviously you're gonna get organized. I think 100 men probably demo. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be trained, but you definitely have the opportunity to like basically get organized. Like you're not just gonna get dropped into a pit with a. Can three of us have 300 blackouts? No, 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 no. Yeah, exactly. I think ChatGPT was paid off. Big gorilla? Nah, it's just the Planet of the Apes. That's actually what it is. I have to think that everyone that's Team Gorilla is just like a big Planet of the Apes fan. Apex discount, 80% off, ends tomorrow. With this 3 minute inverse at 11:36 PST would have been a trade. Would you have taken it or not? Probably not. 3 minute at I guess what would that be? 2:36 Eastern. Wait, what? What 3 minute? You looking to short this up top? What inverse? Where's the gap? Oh, the short. Duh. No, no. I was looking for like the long there. I don't know why. But yeah, no, I wouldn't have taken 3 minute there. Yeah, like I said, the only way I would get in a short here is if we came up and took the high and then reversed and got like a V shape, or if we got a long from the low. That's the only way I would take a trade. I wouldn't take a trade in the middle of this. Market maker sell model, market maker chop model. Did I take anything this morning? Yeah, I took the short, and I was already done for the day. I caught like the initial longs. Where was it? Uh, I caught like longs up here when we inversed this 2 minute or whatever. Like we started inversing all this. I jumped in along like here, and I just wrote it to the equal highs that Dodgy called out, and then I took the 3 minute short on eval, and sold some at the SMT, and then got break even on the rest. And that was about it. And I said I liked the 5 minute long too. I thought that was okay because you had an SMT at the low. So there's that 1 minute inverse finally, and the 30 second. Do I take one trade per? I usually try and take one per session. Um, I've said this in the past, but this is what I like to do for AM. It's 3 to 5 a week, and then for PM it's 2 to 4. Okay, and like try and shoot for like 8 trades a week, and you should be good. Yeah, we did just get an SMT at the low here. Yeah, like 8 a week is pretty good. Eight plus trades. So like this morning there were two good trades. This afternoon, there really hasn't been any. It's about to be, or I guess it is 3 o'clock here. So, I guess here's 3. SMT at this low. We have this 30-second back up. We're not really delivering from anywhere. Did we sweep the hourly low? No, we haven't. So yeah, I wouldn't take a long here yet. I would have wanted to wait for more sell side to get hit, but there is a 30-second here. If you like it, I guess go for it. My problem with it is we just inverse the 30-second gap to the downside, and now we're inversing 30 seconds to the upside. I'd go break even there. But yeah. So we inverse 30 seconds to the downside. We left the previous hourly low behind, and now we're going back up. So we probably should have seen that get taken out. But yeah, 11 points from the entry would be like here. So this is where like 1-to-1 would be. So you could like scale some there, I guess, if you took the long. But to me, this is still like trying to trade in the chop. Yeah, looks like that 30-second trade, but I'm going to break even. Um, Me and my girlfriend are looking at places to go to um, on a vacation. And I haven't really started looking yet, but I'm just trying to figure out where would be a good place to go that has like cool architecture, good food, relaxing environment, near the mountains, has art and culture and cute shops. That's what she wants. No, in America. Toronto is near the mountains. Utah. Oh, also it needs to be within 12 hours from Michigan because we're gonna drive it. We like to road trip. Asheville, North Carolina, right? Isn't that like really like messed up from the hurricane? Yeah, there's like the Appalachian Mountains. So probably one of those cities in the Appalachians. Also, didn't Spain just get like a massive like cyber attack that took out their power? Okay, so Asheville is kind of back. That's cool. So yeah, like I said, not the greatest long setup, obviously, because we're just still chopping. But looks like we're inversing these bullish gaps to the downside once more. So maybe we will be bearish after all. Also, wow, we ended up respecting the 1 minute inverse there. I think, right? Yeah, the open there doesn't count. So respected the 1 minute inverse. and just still continue to sell off. So maybe this 30-second actually wasn't too bad. I guess the only issue was with it was the delivery. Um, but yeah, it makes sense to run those lows finally. So those have been hit. And we know we're in the 15, so I'll just get rid of that. Maybe I'll come up here and I'll make a line or something. If we close above the line, we'll know that we've inversed it. So there's that. And yeah, now we'll just see. Swept out the hourly low there, so we have an hourly BISI that we tapped into now, so now we have delivery. And I guess if we got like a nice V-shaped setup to the upside, this would be like my condition to take a long, but so far no singular obvious gap here. We have this 30-second, but we left relative equal lows behind, so probably want to see those get hit too. Yeah. Yep, past 1 hour was just chop. Oh yeah, wow, that's cool. Oh wow, we could even go to like Montreal if we wanted to for like a day or whatever. Yeah, maybe. So there's that 30-second inverse to the upside. Like I said, I think it makes sense to continue to see price move down here just because we left those relative equal lows behind. And obviously this isn't really like the greatest momentum in the world ever to take a long setup off of. If it works, it works. So be it. But yeah, like how big is this gap? 3 points? So not the most obvious gap, not the best momentum. Oh wow. Well, I'm an idiot. That was how many points? 36 points in a minute. I mean, I guess it was our reaction in the 1 hour, so there's that. But I would have wanted something a little bit more obvious. And we just didn't get it. Was that the macro candle or news? I don't know. I don't think it was the macro candle. I think it might have just been random. But we'll see. I have financial juice pulled up. I'm just a little bit delayed on it. I guess SMT here. We have a 30-second short here. Yeah, these are still just not like the greatest conditions. See, because now you have to like short into an hourly gap that just got filled. Did we take the hourly candle high here? No, we didn't. Okay. Did we do it on ES? We didn't. Okay. So we left the hourly candle high behind. We have a 15-second confirmation setup. It's risky. Trump set to announce new car tariff climb down in Michigan. Looks like we might get a 15-second long here. Honestly, when we've been trading in this chop for this long, I need more confirmation than just a 15-second setup. So it looks good. But Yeah, I'm just gonna wait. Like I'm not forcing anything this PM. This is just like if you look at the 5 minute, why force something in this price action? We know we can get way better price action if we just wait. There's the 15-second inverse. It's invalid, so not even a valid setup. We hit the high first. Fifteen-second inverse holding there. Same with the gap. Let's go. I got it in one. I'm him. How long of the stream is left? We technically have like another 45 minutes, but usually on days like this, I'll wrap up early if it doesn't really give us anything coming into the macro times here. We have like the next macro start at 3:15, and then that'll usually go to 3:45. And if that doesn't really give us anything, then we have 3:50. But if I had to guess, we're probably not going to see much. We should be gambling MOC macro. I guess Fahrenheit. I mean, it worked out the other day or yesterday, whatever it was. You gave the call. Trade boy market on close. All right, little 30-second maybe to the downside here. My condition for taking a shorter or long would be if we came up and swept out these highs. Technically, we have an SMT at this high, so maybe that counts, but yeah, just not good enough momentum anywhere right now. let's see. Did we get a 1 minute? Nope. Just this 30-second. And the 30 seconds invalid, I think, because we hit the low, right? Yeah, we hit the low, so great. Wait, why was it invalid? Yeah, sure. So this swing point here is the start of the swing that forms the fair value gap that we're looking to inverse. Okay, so this is where you would like draw your line across to see if we hit this low before we get the close, if that makes the setup invalid. And so here you can see price came down, hit the low before closing below the gap. So that's what makes the trade invalid. Yep, right here it's like a really weird scenario because the gap, like the candle that actually is the gap, is the same candle as the swing point. You won't see that most often. Most time you'll just see like, you know, the same normal thing, and then like price will come up and like hit the high or whatever, the low before inversing. You won't normally see that happen. So this is like a unique scenario. Either way, even if it was valid, I wasn't going to take it, so it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to find like an example of like an invalid trade, so you can see like what that looks like. So okay, I mean, I guess we could say like this IFEG here is invalid, right? Because here's the high that starts the swing, okay? And here's the fair value gap, okay? 1, 2, 3, fair value gap. Price rushes up. We don't close over it on this candle. And so we have to wait for the next candle, but price hits the high before we get the inverse. So that's like an invalid trade. But yeah, right now price is uncorrelated, like pretty bad. So that's another sign that like we probably shouldn't be trading this. If you look, ES is making higher lows, whereas NQ is making lower lows. So whenever you see that, that's just a sign that like we're just not in good price conditions. Oh, that's easy, trade boy. Come on. The traders take that for sure. Just posted the PM trade recap in the trade recaps channel. 15-second long to dead eye. Where? Oh, yeah, where? This one? We're just forcing setups here. Yeah, where's the 15-second FEG? Oh, just the Fabrel gap itself. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no. The 2 minute? Hell no. No, that 2 minutes not obvious enough. Here, I should go back and I should look at a PM trade recap. And we will look at it and we will do a comparison. Okay. Just so you guys can remember what a good setup looks like. All right. Let's take a look at this setup here. All right. What do we think about this setup? We took this setup. How many days ago was this? 422. We took the setup a week ago, I think, right? Yeah, all right. So this is what a good setup looks like. Okay, we have our obvious, drawing liquidity here, good V shape, sleep out sell side. We're obviously getting 1 minute candles. Looks good, right? This is the 1 minute time frame. All right, now let's take a look at this 1 minute time frame. All right. Does that setup that we just saw look anything like what we're getting right now? All I see is opportunity. Do you screenshot all your trades? The ones that we take in PM, yeah, I do. I put them in trade recaps demo. Wow. All right. 15-second long wasn't good, right? Yeah, no. No, no, no. Probably because premium members or something can't post gifs in chat, and because I have admin, I can. Because I think there's some pretty crazy gifs in the gift reel, so it's probably for the best. Did I review the 117 long? I think so. I think I said it was good. Maybe not though. Wait, 117. No, I would not have taken that. But what I did say that I liked was this. 113. And then go break even at the gap there. The 5 minute or whatever. Because that's the only place we should project from. There's no roadblocks here to the left. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Brian can post gifts. No, it's just you. I don't know what the deal is. Trump administration is working on modifications to a Biden era rule that would limit most nations' access to a U.S. designed AI chip. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. This is my favorite GIF. You don't get it? All right, here, I got you. I'll hit you with a caption. Um, this one's good too, but this isn't even a GIF. That's just a funny picture. Oh, click on the emoji in the bottom right, and then top left. Okay, bro. I can't. See, this is why we can't have nice things, Tommy. Wait. That picture's so funny. Wait. Oh my god, that's funny. What's going on, Oksana? No, that's funny. Tommy, yeah, we just can't post that in here, but that's funny. What did you miss? Oh, we missed everything. You missed everything, dude. We talked about uh, politics, gorillas versus men. Uh, I don't know, a lot of things. Oh, let me ask you the question: 100 men, 100 average men, or one gorilla? Who's winning in a fight? Like all out to the death, no rules. Let's go. Let's go. Oksana with the right answer. Oksana, the thing is, like, people just that answer gorilla aren't being creative enough. Like, all they're thinking about is the gorilla, like, oh, the gorilla smash, gorilla spin, it can rip your limbs off, right? They're not thinking of, like, what men can do, right? Like, people fall from, like, 10-story buildings all the time and live. Like, what? You're telling me, like, a man couldn't survive a punch from a gorilla? I mean, I'm not saying, like, they're going to last very long, but, like, some adrenaline, anything's possible. For me, Oksana, all it's going to take is one dude going for the eyes and it's over. and then at that point you just let the thing tire itself out, and then you just take it out. That's crazy, Damo. 2 hours straight of Chop City, yeah, and this is when I was like, oh yeah, this is cooked, right? Because we saw Price violate bearish PD race or bullish PD race to the downside, and then come back up and violate bullish PD race. So, yeah, I feel like it was pretty easy to see that this was chop, and being able to stay out of a trade was pretty easy to do here. It's a good opportunity to learn patience and know when to trade and when not to. I repeat, all I see is opportunity. See, like, this would be an applicable time to use this GIF. Dude, that was crazy. Like, why did they have to do that to Harambe, man? Hey, Loki, what's worse? Harambe being innocent and being shot out of precaution, or the scenario where they don't shoot the gorilla and they end up killing the baby? Like, which scenario is worse? Yeah, I mean, the kid jumped down there. Like, what were they thinking, right? Like, that was just full on Darwinism. If it's not the gorilla, it's definitely going to be something else in the future. I'm gonna stay silent. I'm just kidding. By the way, obviously, like, taking the precaution is probably the smarter movement. Oh, the gorilla for sure. Yeah, without a doubt, Fahrenheit. Okay, sad. Jeez. You've been holding a short since 2:30. Why? Why would you do that to yourself? Oh, that's Tarzan, Dapper. Yeah, you gotta go check that movie out. Yeah, we already see we've seen how that third scenario plays out. We don't got a hypothetical that one. Wait, you're in a short targeting the data low. What's your stop loss? No stop loss. It's gonna hit. All right. I feel bad for people that just joined PM. They're gonna think that, like, this is what PM's about. We just sit here and watch, like, paint dry, and then we talk about gorillas and stuff. This is not the norm, by the way, guys. Obviously, we're just trying to find things to do in order to, pass the time. It's hard to teach in these conditions too, right? Because we're not forming PD arrays that allow me to answer questions, right? Like, nobody can really ask questions about this because it's just, up down. Like, obviously, you can ask me, like, oh, would you take this? Would you take this? But, like, you can see here, you guys were asking me about the 2 minute. I said I'm not going to take it, right? And then you can watch in real time that play out and see why I wouldn't take the 2 minute. You heard the click on the 2 minute? Okay, come on. Angel, why are you taking pictures of NPC traffic? I'm confused. Anyone catch the 1 minute at 1:13? I don't think so. Someone can motivate everyone to lock in on trade. What do I drive? An NPC car. A Camry. Um, this is my exact car. Nah, I'm a fan of cars, Marlon. I was actually thinking about looking at trading this in and getting this. But apparently, like, I don't think Genesis are like as reliable. Like, they're a pretty new car brand, so. Can you draw some speed lines behind the car, please? Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I got you. Ew. Skirt. How much do I drive? Quite a bit. I bought this car 2 years ago, and I already have 45,000 miles on it, and I got it with 7,000. Yeah, we do have a 30-second long here. It looks like we could get a. Yeah, I think the 30 seconds the best here. If we V shape up here with good momentum, I think this would be like the best setup of the day. But I'm probably just not going to take anything else. Any long trips? Yeah. I think my longest trip was 3,000 miles. 1,500 there, 1,500 back. We drove to like Maryland. And then we've driven to like Niagara Falls and like a couple other places. Is it live funded copy trade 5 accounts full port temperature? Yeah. Yep, definitely in these conditions, Angel. Honestly though, like I don't want to get rid of my Camry because it's literally the perfect car. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Yeah, that is good value Fahrenheit. Right now I pay 450 on a 5 year 5 year loan. I think I paid 24,300 for my Camry with 7,000 miles on it to 2020, and I bought it during 2022 or 2023. So like not terrible. The new Accords are low key clean. I think the new Camrys look better. What is it, like the ninth gen Accord now? Wait, what generation is the Accord on? The 11th gen? Is it this one? That it looks alright. Sean, I actually test drove an Acura TLX and it was just okay. I didn't really think it was worth the money. Okay, so we're kind of selling off here. Oksano's short is officially up like 1,000,000 points. Keep an eye on the 5 minute here. All right, we have a nice V-shaped 15-second up here, delivering out of that 2-minute gap. Not a singular gap in sight, unfortunately, except for this 30-second. I do think this is like the best setup of the day so far for PM. Except like after 150 or whatever it was. Right, we've retraced the discount. We've gotten my condition that I wanted, where a long, from that 1 hour. Yeah, there's a 15-second bearish for value up here. But yeah, like I said, like I'm probably not going to take anything. Obviously, this isn't an obvious gap, so not the condition I'm looking for quite yet. I like the signature and price. I like the V-shapedness, but yeah, just not enough engineered liquidity above. I don't think. Like we didn't form equal highs, whatever. We're just targeting these random highs here, so. M4, the M4 is okay. You know what's going to hold value a lot better than a BMW? That's going to hold value a lot better than a BMW. Or a Porsche, yeah, but you have to get the right one. You have to get a 911, basically. What should I get as a first car? A Camry. Genuinely. Or if you want an EV, get the Model 3, like Fahrenheit said. It's good value. If you have more money and you're like Ryan, the C8 Corvette is insane value. Honestly, yeah, there's no reason for me to get a Genesis G70 when the Corvette is right there. When the C8 Corvette is like $55,000 for a new one. Why would I spend $15,000? Or I would spend I think the new 3.3Ts are like 45 grand. Or I could get a C8 Corvette for 55. Hey, Damo, I started off with a Camry. Camrys you can get for like under 5K. I'm just saying, right? I just gave like multiple different options for a first car. No. My current car is a Camry. I think the problem with the Model 3 Fahrenheit is you just don't know when that battery is going to give out. I'm 23, Damo. All right. Well, I mean, technically the 15-second play failed, but like, did it? Is the Tesla warranty good? I know like there's a few car brands that have good warranties. Like I think it's the Hyundai and Kia warranties that are really good. But obviously the reason why their warranties are so good is because those cars are constantly in the shop. So okay, yeah, for sure, Fahrenheit. Yeah, I guess if I wanted an EV, for sure. I don't think I really like the interiors on the Model 3 or just any Tesla in general. I feel like if I wasn't a car person, like I think the Model 3 would be good. But I'm saying that as I drive a Camry, so I can't. I guess I don't know. Also, the other thing is I live in Michigan too. Like the Model 3 isn't ideal for Michigan. Yeah, because of winter. The Ford Raptor. Well, not necessarily because of the all-wheel drive Fahrenheit, but because of the doesn't that like damage the health of the battery, and then also trying to get in using those door handles is a problem if they like freeze over. And my Camry doesn't have the greatest ground clearance in the world. Like I'm not gonna take it through snow. Yeah, for sure, Fahrenheit. Yeah, maybe. I don't even know you could test drive a Model 3 since they don't really have like dealerships. I know they have like the service centers or whatever. So yeah, looks like we're gonna inverse this. Oh no, we closed to. Oh no, we closed above. Okay, so the 30-second closed above there. If you want to get in there, your break even will be there, and your final TP would probably be here. But we have 350 in about 50 seconds, so we'll see if this plays out. But yeah, like I said, this was probably the best play of the PM session after 150. Just trying to long here. I think I know where there's one close by. There's a there's a mall called Somerset, and they have a showroom. Angel, what do you where do you enter? You go to the bottom left of your computer. You press the Windows button on your keyboard, and then you click on the power off button. That's what you enter. So if you guys took this 30-second, there's the inverse, there's the target, and then final TP would probably just be the highs. But yeah, 350 kind of an easy read there. But yeah, no trades for us today. I think I don't think we're gonna get anything else. Probably just gonna see the 350 macro play out. All right, Zat. Have a good rest of your day. 1 minute short plus SMT. True. Little tiny SMT there. I think we'll probably break it. Maybe at 355 we would reverse, but we'll see. Earnings after the close. Oh yeah, Amazon, Apple Thursday, Meta tomorrow with Microsoft. Today, we don't really have anything. Yeah, tomorrow and Thursday will be wild, especially since Thursday is the day before NFP. So that'll be really interesting. I think we'll kind of get an idea of what big tech earnings are going to look like after tomorrow's earnings. But yeah, we'll see. You know, maybe Apple or Amazon post a surprise. But yeah, sorry there wasn't really much to take today. Um, just kind of is what it is. I think this setup was good. Like as like a forced setup. Obviously, we'll get better than this. And then obviously the 30-second down here wasn't super obvious. I don't think this is a convincing stop out here, even though obviously it closes below. Um, just like sloppy delivery because of the conditions, and then obviously the idea after we came down here and swept out these lows was to be bullish because we tapped into that 5 minutes. So definitely made sense to become bullish there. We got enough of a retrace. What about the trade at the start of the stream? Yeah, that trade at the start of the stream was fine too. That 30-second. Everything that I'm referencing is from like 150 onward. Obviously, if you caught that initial 30-second, like that was fine. But to me, I want something more obvious, right? And taking this long here is kind of like a longing and premium of the range. But I think that longing here with the idea that we're going to go run these LRLR is definitely the right idea, since I think this was the strongest draw liquidity we had this session. So little 3 minute short here. Will trigger in a minute and a half. 30-second entry probably just got break even there on the rest. If you were trying to target high a day. Okay, now this would be the best setup of the day. If it wasn't after 350. These 350 setups can be pretty manipulated. If there was a good draw on liquidity below and we weren't targeting like this low here, like this would be a good short. I do like the fact that we have this SMT here, and maybe the short does end up working out to the low, but I need a better draw on liquidity, and I think even to the low here, it might not be even 1-to-1. Let me check. Yeah, so just to the low here, it's about 1-to-1 if we even get the close below. We'll see. I like the equal highs left here. I didn't see those before. If they're on the 1 minute, yeah, they're on the 1 minute. So,
Hey guys, what's going
oh boy,
on?
Dodge is here. What's going on?
Hey, Becky.
Hey, did you see the trade recap?
Hey, Becky. Yeah, let's go. We took that loss too. I took that loss too.
Loss.
I full ported your call out and I lost.
Oh no. The trade recap today was just no. We took.
Who's we? How did I take it?
Um. Yeah, I think Fahrenheit, and like a bunch of other people in the chat, we all took.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, totally.
Hey, you want to take this 30-second long to the equal highs here? Get 1-to-1 on the stream.
Hey, I want to take this 30-second long to a hole in one on the golf course. That's what I want to take.
Oh, okay.
Where's my ball? Check the fucking middle of this fairway.
Hey,
I'm in the middle of the fairway. Let's go.
When are you gonna play the Wynn golf course?
Dude, I'll probably. Oh, there it is. Oh my god, holy shit! Where are you? Right there. Oh my god. This whole 8. Oh, 129 isn't bad. No.
Now that chat Very typical of PM. If you're new here, Dodgy will just bust in here sometimes while he's on the golf course and say what up. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna get anything else today, guys. I'm gonna wrap up here. Thanks for bearing with me on this very choppy day. I'm glad we could make the best of it and have a debate on man versus gorilla. But I'll catch you all tomorrow. I believe I have a one-on-one. Who is that one-on-one with if they're here? Dude, who is my one-on-one with? Oh no. Oh, Sinister Jade. Sinister Jade, are you here? Well, if you're here, I'll see you tomorrow. Sinister Jade for a one-on-one. The rest of you, I'll catch you all in PM. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a backtesting stream. So if you guys want to catch that, I'll be live at 7 Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern for that. And yeah, see y'all then. Peace out.